Trust me, you're going to want to hear this because it's going to change your life. And do me a favor, if you know of two or three sisters that need some liberation, that need some freedom, that need a breakthrough, make sure you share this with them and invite them to be a part of this sisterhood and this conversation. So I have my two friends here with me. I have Marissa and I have Dr. Kamani, and I'm going to let them introduce themselves because they are some bad sisters. They are some bad sisters, and you should know about them. So, ladies, I'll let you go first. Who wants to go first?
Dr. Kamani, please.
Okay,
They're so generous. They're so sweet. That's
yes,
another
indeed.
one. People are good.
First, thank you so much, Coach Vet, for allowing us to be here today and sharing space with you and your audience. I'm Dr. Kamani. I'm a licensed clinical psychologist of over 20 years. I'm also a toxic job survivor, but more importantly, I'm a toxic job liberator for Black women. And I'm co-hosting with Marissa Price the second annual Job Liberation Virtual Summit for Black women, which is May 16th through 18th. So we're so excited to share more information about the virtual summit.
Nice.
Yes. And I am Marissa Price, co host of the 2025 Job Liberation Virtual Summit. I am a social worker, I am a freelance educator, I'm a systems disruptor, and a toxic job survivor. Thank you to Dr. Kamani for that term. But yeah, just kind of healing from my own experience in a really toxic, traumatic work environment. And then like rebuilding the pieces of my life in self confidence, like publicly, I feel like over the past like 2.5 years on YouTube, and just being able to be in community with other Black women who are experiencing the same things and kind of reclaiming ourselves from these environments that try to steal our light so often. So, yes, happy to be here. Thank you for
Yeah.
having me.
Love it. Oh my God. Ladies, thank you so much. So much for being here. One, thank you for speaking your truth so openly and so publicly because that's hard, right? And that's vulnerable. Especially, you both have described kind of a little bit of you didn't go into it too much. You guys are being humble. But obviously you have some type of knowledge, some type of background, right? That's deeper than just, your average everyday something. You had to work for it, right? And to know that you are a toxic job survivor. And I think that's the best place to start. And I'll just tell I think Dr. Kamani, you and I, we talked about this before, right? The sad part is, y'all, I don't know Dr. Kamani. I've never met this woman in person. I know her through YouTube, like probably most of you know her, or if you know her in person. And unfortunately, we didn't connect because we're Black women, or we have kids, or we have educational similarities. We connected and like resonated with one another because of a toxic job situation. And I just like to call it what it is. Maybe I think because I'm getting old. That's so stupid. That is the stupidest thing to connect with another woman over. Not because like, oh man, you from Chicago. I'm from Chicago too. What, you like ribs? I like, what, you like nothing. Oh, you traveled over, girl, I did too.
Yes.
No, girl, you had a toxic job, girl, I did too. You
Yes.
left that job, girl, I did too. Girl,
Mm-hmm.
they treated you horrible, girl, I did too. Girl, you got educated. Like, it was like, it's the stupidest and most unfortunate thing that so many women suffer through.
Yes.
I think Marissa said it. Dr. Kamani, you coined that phrase, right? The toxic job survivor. Can you talk us through that and what that means to you, and honestly how you got through that?
Yeah. Well, first, I agree with you. It's infuriating that so many Black women have had the experience of being in a toxic work environment. And I
Mhm.
think that what's so traumatizing about it is not only the experience, but that we feel like we're alone. We feel like we're the only
Mm.
one who's experienced it. So when you meet another Black woman and she's talking to you about her experience, you're like, girl, me too. And
Yeah.
so unfortunately, so many of us have had this experience. And that's how I actually met Marissa. And I'll just briefly,
Mm.
well, I have Marissa tell how we met. But, this is how I've met so many Black women in
Mm.
telling my story. And so when I was in a toxic job, I went through so much there, so much physical,
Mm.
psychological, spiritual harm as well. And as a result of that, I really was committed to my own healing. And I was
Mm.
like, this place is not going to take me out. It's not going to take me out.
Mm.
They tried to, right? They tried to break me.
Mm.
They tried to break my soul. They tried to humiliate me. They tried to do all these things. But I refused. That's a fighting spirit in me. And I just I'm from a history of a legacy of warrior women. So I was like, oh
Yes.
no, you are not. You are not going to do that.
Mm.
So I became determined, and we were both in Stephanie Perry's YouTube class.
Mm.
So when I was in Stephanie Perry's YouTube class, that's how I started YouTube. At first I was on
Really?
Instagram, kind of talking about Black women in toxic jobs, talking about my own story, started interviewing other Black women. And I was like, you know what? I need to talk about this more because it's therapeutic for me, right? People always say,
Mm.
well, how do you talk about this so much? Because it's therapy for me too. It is not in
Mm.
my system. And so, well, I was like, okay, so how do I help more Black women? Signed up for Stephanie Perry's YouTube challenge. And
Mm-hmm.
from there, she was like, so what do you want to talk about on your YouTube channel? I said, I don't know. I think Black women toxic jobs. She's like, girl, do that today. Do it today.
Really?
And then that's how my YouTube channel came to be. And so at first I was like, I don't know, maybe I'm talking about this too much. Maybe people are gonna get sick of me talking about this. And every time I said that, I was all over my head. Every time I said that, some
Mm.
Black woman reached out to me and said, thank you so much for sharing my
Mm.
story. Thank you so much. I thought I was alone,
Wow.
right? And the more I talked about it, again, the more therapeutic it was for me. But I started realizing how many Black women around
Mm.
the world were having a similar experience. And then that just kept me going, right?
Mm.
Fuels me every week when I come on live is I'm sharing a story from a different Black woman because I don't want people to just hear from me, right? I want to hear
Mm.
from other Black women around the world that the experiences that we have in toxic jobs are so common. It's a similar
Mm.
dynamic. It doesn't matter what your job is. It doesn't matter what your education level is. It doesn't
Girl.
matter where you are in the world. It is the same dynamic, okay? So I
Mm.
feel like now I'm exposing, right? Because when we have
Yeah.
these experiences, many times we become so traumatized, so broken. We go
Mm.
within, we have such shame. And I don't want us to feel shame because we didn't do anything
Mm.
wrong, right? Now we
Wow.
need to self-assess, like what did I do? But more than likely, it is something happening at this toxic job because of racism and sexism. And so we pull
Wow.
it out for what it is. That gives us a sense of power, like, oh, okay, I'm gonna call a thing a thing. That's
Mm.
right. I'm not alone in this, and I will not be silenced. So that is why
Mm.
I will continue to talk on YouTube because they tried to humiliate me and silence me. So I was like, oh, okay, okay. So guess
Mm.
what I'm gonna do? I'm
What?
gonna go on YouTube and I'm gonna get even louder, right? And so I
Wow.
talk to people too. They say, well, you know, what is it like for you? As I said before, it gives me joy to
Okay.
be able to heal out loud, like Glamazini talks about. I'm
Mm.
healing out loud so people
Mm.
see me, but I'm also helping other Black women in the process. And so
Mm.
that is like, okay, maybe this is what was intended for me because I was
Mm.
languishing at that job. I was like not growing. I was fighting
Mm.
fools all the time. It was a
Wow.
terrible situation, right? It's
Mm.
ended up that way. But it got to a certain point where I had to decide, do I want to stay here and fight these people and get really, really, really sick?
Mm.
Say no. I'm gonna pivot out of this situation because as Black women, we can pivot.
We can pivot.
We can
That's it.
pivot.
That's
And
it.
Black women,
Yes.
not only from the Black woman I'm sharing the guests with, the guests on my channel, but I
Mm.
was speaking from my example that you can pivot and pivot out well.
Mm.
There's so many different
Ooh.
opportunities for us.
That was powerful. Pivot and pivot out loud. I love that. Oh my God, Dr. Kamani. And I'm so proud of you for fighting back,
Oh,
but not in that place, right? A lot of women love to, I'm gonna stay here and I'm gonna show them, I'm gonna change it. Why?
well, see, that's why we've been ingrained, right? So we've been
Mm,
taught, right, that we are the strong Black woman, and we are because we have
mm-hmm,
not had a choice to be anything else, right?
mm,
So we
mm-hmm,
are strong, and part of us
mm.
has been ingrained that we don't leave situations. We're
Okay,
not punks. We're not weak.
girl.
So then we said, "Oh,
Mm,
I'm gonna stay. I'm gonna show you who are
wow.
you gonna take me out of here, right? And I fought to
Mm,
be here, and I deserve every right to be here, and all that kind of stuff."
yes,
But the thing is
girl.
this, the game is rigged. There is nothing that we
Ooh,
can do to make the situation better. The longer we
ooh,
stay and fight, what are we
ooh,
fighting for? Right? What
ooh.
are we fighting for? And guess what? What do
Yeah.
you think is going to win? Because you're not going to win. It's rigged. You're not going to
Mm.
win anything.
You better speak, Kendrick Lamar. You better speak. Oh my God.
Girl, it's a mind F. It is a major mind F. And so I think it's important
Mm,
for us to recognize what the mind F is, and that so many of us experience it, and for us to call out what is keeping us at these jobs. It's our mindset.
mm.
right? It's the
Wow.
mindset, just like I just talked about. It's also the fear of, well, if I leave this job, I'm gonna end up homeless. I don't have any other place to go. I don't, I got a family to support. I can't do that. Sis,
Mm.
the fear is going to be there.
The fear.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm
Okay.
calling up. The fear is going to be there. That is not a sign to
Mm.
stop, right? I'm gonna quote Glamazini again. That means it's a road you need to walk through the gate. It's not a stop
Mm.
sign, it's to walk through it.
Walk
And so
through
the
it.
things that we offer, the things that, the summit, it's a way
Okay.
for us to walk with Black women in community as you're
Oh.
walking through the fear to access better ways to make money, right?
Walk
To exit
through.
to exit plan.
Ooh. Oh my, I'm gonna put that's a hashtag walk through. Oh, I've
Walk
been on a
through.
hashtag kick lately. Why can't I find my hashtag? Hashtag walk. Oh my, and I'm glad you said that. Because a lot of times we as women, we think that the fear, if the fear is there, then we can't do it. And if
Right.
the fear is gone, then we're okay. But you said so beautifully that the fear is going to be there.
It's always going to be
But
there because
your
it's
summit
change. It's something
helps us walk
new.
through it. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, you're going
I
to have the
love
fear.
that. I
Yeah.
love that. Oh my goodness. All right, Marissa. So what are your thoughts on that? Like, so Kamani, Dr. Kamani, you walked us through how you all met, right? And so let's put in a plug
Well, no,
real quick.
I want Marissa to tell how we met.
Okay. So shameless plug before I forget. Stephanie Perry is the junk, right? And
Yes.
so her YouTube success challenge will change your life, y'all. If y'all haven't been a part of that, Stephanie Perry is the truth, and she is probably one of the most solid business women that I've ever been a part of. I've been a part of like some programs, but that's Stephanie Perry, and that's how I got started with mine. We'll talk all about that in a minute. So yes, okay. So all right, Marissa, you're gonna pick it up. You guys met in the YouTube Success Challenge, and you go.
Yeah, so we actually met. I was in Dr. Kamani's chats, kind of like in the toxic job experience, not really understanding what was happening to me. I was
Oh,
experiencing going from pet to threat, coined by three Black women
you
professors,
did
which
say
Dr.
that.
Kamani had shared on her YouTube channel. And that was the first time I heard that term. I'm like, because I had no idea what was happening to me, right? Because I was doing
Okay.
my job, I was excelling at my
Mm,
job. And then someone's insecurity, who I was working under, was triggered by that. And
mm,
so, like the microaggression started, right? The pattern of behavior that starts reminded me of childhood trauma of being bullied, and so I felt like I was stuck, similar to what I felt like when I was a child.
mm,
And so it was a very deeply traumatic experience that I really didn't have the terms for, like what
mm.
was happening to me until I was in Dr. Kamani's chat. And so like over a series of months, like being in the chat, pivoting out of that job and becoming a virtual assistant to get free, which is how I got free, really becoming a freelancer
Okay.
using my existing skill set. And now I help other Black women kind of take that path too. And then I think Dr. Kamadi's VA had recently quit or gone on vacation or something, like extended vacation, and she needed assistance. So we connected on that. I became her virtual assistant.
Oh,
And
wow.
through that, just kind of had an idea to host a summit to
Okay.
provide Black women globally with resources, knowledge, community who
Mm,
are going through similar things, because this experience can be very isolating if you
okay.
don't know what's happening to
Mm,
you, right? And that can lead you
yes.
down the spiral of anxiety, depression, sometimes even worse. And so just having a community to be able to connect with and reflect back to you that it's not you, it
Mm,
is in fact the job, right? And you can like pick yourself out of that job and go to a different environment, pursue
mm.
entrepreneurship, freelancing, and
Okay.
all these options are available to you. But trauma kind of like puts us right here, right? Tunnel vision, like this is the
Mm.
only thing we'll ever do. And so part of healing is reminding yourself of your track record, all the
Ooh.
places you've been to, right? The jobs you've had, the volunteer opportunities, the networks that you
Mm.
already have, reminding yourself of the options that exist in front of you.
Yes.
This is not the only thing you'll ever do, and you're not put here to be harmed.
No,
Okay, so
no,
you have options.
no. And
Mm.
quote Stephanie Perry, because she loves her flowers, so we're gonna give her flowers again. Quote Stephanie Perry, a job is something you do, it is not who you are.
It's not
And
who you
many
are.
times as Black women, our job becomes part of our identity. And so when we
Yes.
introduce ourselves, we say, I'm so and so, and I am, right?
Mm.
That is not who we are. And I want to say it was all God how I met Marissa, because I saw she was commenting on my videos, right? And
Really?
so my VA left, and I was like, oh my God, what am I going to do? And I remember some kind of way during this chat, Marissa would say she was a VA. So I reached out to Marissa, and I was like, girl, I need some help. And we worked
Really?
together. We start working together. And part of what I love to do is I love to pour into other Black women. I love
Okay.
to support our growth. And Marissa was like, at a certain point, she was like, you know what? I have these ideas, right? And
Really?
that's when she came up with the Job Liberation Virtual Summit for Black Women. That was her idea.
Mm.
And so then we came together and grew that, right? But the
Mm.
thing is that at a certain point, Marissa was like, you know what? I want to expand to doing other things. And so I had to say
Mm.
goodbye to Marissa for being my VA. But
Really?
you know what? I
Oh.
was like, you know what? I want to support
Mhm.
you in whatever way I can, right? So if that's
Mm.
not what you want to do, I want to support your growth, and I want to continue to support your growth in whatever way I can. I want Black women to see that, how we
Yeah.
pour into one another. And it's not about competition. It's
That
nothing
part.
like that. It's nothing
That
like that,
part.
right? That we
Yes.
all can find ways to contribute to each other and pour into
Mm.
one another.
Oh my
Mhm.
God. Oh my, because my next question was, Marissa, do you still do that? Because I need to be because I just did my workshop over the weekend. And one, Black women are so amazing, and there's so many supportive Black
Mhm.
women. And I tell them like I'm a one man band, right? I know I look like I'm like doing all the things, and it's just like all no, it's like a duck. You know what I mean? I said so if it's a little slow, know that it's because I got tired, right? And doing this and doing that.
Mm.
Like Coach, you need a VA. I'm like, well, pray for me. So like you got to pay for them VAs and you got to grow the business and all the things. So, all right,
Mhm.
Marissa, but I'm proud of you, Marissa, for
Thank
what,
you.
like you said, stepping into your power and really appreciate, because you said something so powerful. You said you have to remember what you did, and I really
Mhm.
believe we put together a job resume, but no one ever puts together of I'm that chick resume, because we're taught to be humble, be quiet about it. Nah, you really that chick, and like say
Yes.
it loud with your chest. I'm that chick, and let me write it down so I can remind myself, right? And so many
Mhm.
women, they never know what they have, and so for you to understand what you have and to take those skills and bet on yourself, like Wesley Snipes. Y'all remember? Does anyone remember Wesley Snipes but me?
I remember Wesley Snipes. What
Yeah.
video? A
You
movie? Which movie?
okay, what is it? Oh man. It was maybe the one with the plane. Passenger 57, was that it? And remember he was on the plane and he said always bet on black.
Oh,
Y'all remember,
Oh.
y'all don't remember that?
no, I remember that.
That's the only thing I remember from Wesley Snipes. He says always bet on black. And so that like
Mm.
stuck in my head, right? That
Mm,
we as Black women need to bet on ourselves, right? And
yes.
like Dr. Kamani, you said it. You said it was a whole lot of prayer, right? And I think we
Mhm.
forget to bet and pray at the same time.
Yes.
Like it's okay to bet on ourselves while working and praying and having faith. And so I'm so impressed by that, right? So you guys, you ladies got together, you
Hmm.
had your own strengths, you had your own ideas. So
Hmm.
now we're in this space of now and you
Hmm.
collaborate. So
Hmm.
where are you collaborating now to make this change and shift for all women? Because
Yeah.
we're going to talk about the pivot, because
Uh-huh.
Dr. Kalani, you talked about the pivot.
Hmm.
Then Marissa, you talked about being liberated, right? And what that felt, because you guys both come from the mental health space, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Ain't
Hmm.
that crazy? I am so
Now you
confused.
talk about a major mind F, right? That we are mental health professionals and dealing with some straight up toxicity, right?
That's what I
Some
don't be
major
under.
mind stuff.
Dr. Kamani, make that make sense to me, because
It doesn't make sense. No, no,
I'm
no.
like,
Let me just say this. Let me just say this. It doesn't make sense. And
okay,
and none
okay,
of the situations that we're in make sense. And that's what trips us up as Black women, is that we're trying
mm,
to logically make sense
okay,
of it.
okay, okay,
Crazy,
Mhm.
crazy doesn't make sense. It doesn't
okay,
make sense, right? And
okay,
so we have to say, wait a minute, this is happening. It doesn't add up. Let
okay,
me start saying what I need to do for myself, as
right,
opposed to trying to make a situation that's crazy make sense. It's not gonna make sense.
okay,
And then you start going down these rabbit holes
Mm.
Stay there longer. It's
So,
not going to make sense.
so Dr. Kwan, I want you to help us, okay? Or maybe you need to talk. Maybe I need you need to be my therapist right now. So let's just try some things out because a
Okay.
lot of women think they're crazy, and a lot of women don't want to believe that it is really crazy because
Yes.
we've been taught. I don't know if y'all know this. We've been taught that if two or more people say it about you, then you're the problem.
True.
So help me. And I'm not saying it's them. I'm not saying the audience has that problem. This help me, right? You know, help me. What is that Kevin Hart that does that? Help me.
Yes.
Help me.
Yes.
Because I've been in situations where it'd be like you go from place to place to
Mhm.
place to place. And it's like, this is crazy. What is wrong with me? Because
Uh-huh.
it can't be them because I keep running to this everywhere I go.
Can I say this?
Help me.
Why can it not be them?
What? Because they ain't supposed to be
No, no,
right.
no, no.
They're supposed to be
That's
right.
the mind trip. That's the mind trip. That's the power and
Mm.
control. Why can't it be them? Right?
Oh,
So what I think is important for us as Black women, number one, we need to self-assess, right?
okay.
Now,
Self
did I
esteem.
do something?
Okay.
Realistically, did I do something? And talk to somebody else about a situation, not at the job, not a
Okay.
coworker, right?
Okay.
Talk to a therapist, somebody you
Mm.
trust who's objective,
Okay.
who can you
Okay.
can say, this is what happened, and you need to be able to reality test. Because if
Okay.
you don't reality test, the environment is going to start gaslighting you. And Marissa talks about this too in her channel. Then you
Mm.
start self-gaslighting yourself. Did I do something? Did that
Okay.
really happen? Maybe that didn't really happen. Maybe it's me because I'm
Okay.
the common element. No, 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 no. This
Okay.
is crazy making. It's crazy making, right? The
Okay.
common issue that we're not looking at is
Okay.
racism and sexism. That is in all of our jobs, right? Yes, we coach all
Mm.
these jobs, but racism and sexism is there too. It's there to greet us at every turn, right?
Mm.
And we have to recognize that when we come into the job and we get the job, you know we got to be twice as good to get the job.
Why? Why
You
can't I
know
be
that,
regular like them? That drives me crazy
right?
because I forget things, right? I'm like, they forgot last week. Why can't I forget this week? Like I'm tired.
But that's part of the our
Oh,
existence as Black women in the workplace, right?
oh my
So we're twice
God.
as good. So look, if we're twice as good to even get the job in the first place, why is it that when we get the job, do you think we all of a sudden lost the skills?
Of course we did.
No, we didn't. That's a mind trip. That's a mind trip,
Oh
right?
my
So
God.
now what we're doing is that we're identifying with insanity, right? But we're
Wow.
using the way that they're treating us as a reflection of how we should really view ourselves, right?
That's
That's the mind trip.
crazy.
So the part about you said too, why do we not walk in with that bad chick energy?
Yes, yes, yes,
So when
yes.
we come into that, we usually got the bad chick energy, like, oh, I got this, I got
Okay.
this. And then things will keep happening, knit to tear you down.
Got
You
it.
question yourself, right?
Wow.
Now, if you don't really know your worth,
Okay.
right? Then
Mm.
you're constantly looking at for the external validation. Well, they said this to me,
Okay.
or I didn't get this promotion, or there
Wow.
must be something wrong with me. Marissa and I talked about this too. I need to get another degree or certification. There must be
That
something.
part.
Girl, no. If the job is not saying you got to get another degree or certification, that's not it.
Mm.
And
Wow.
oftentimes when we get higher up,
Mm-hmm.
we're even more of a target. We're even more of a target, which doesn't make sense. Again, so
Wow.
we're trying to logical say, what doesn't make any sense? I have this, I brought this to the table.
Mm-hmm.
No. So now you are triggering or the people who are insecure, now they're even more triggered, right? They're
Wow.
more triggered because they're deeply insecure. So deeply
Mm-hmm.
insecure people are going to project their incompetence and their insecurity
Mm-hmm.
onto you, right? So my
Wow.
dear friend Colette Elizabeth, she said this. She said,
Mm.
when you're in the workplace and you notice people around you, particularly those supervisors, if they're incompetent, insecure, immature, watch out. And I
Ooh,
can say that absolutely was my case. Okay.
girl.
Okay. So if that is your situation, you assess that's happening,
Okay.
you need to start exit planning. Honestly. Now don't
Mm.
broadcast everybody you're about to exit plan, but you need to start
Okay.
exit planning because it's gonna get worse.
It's
It
gonna
really
get
is.
worse.
The
Wow.
higher you go up, the pet the threat's gonna happen, all these things gonna happen to you. And
Okay.
you're gonna sit there and be thinking like, what's wrong with me? And then you're exhausted. Now you're
Girl.
exhausted because you're constantly trying to figure things out, watching your back all the time, right? So
Yeah.
the important part is, as Black women, Not that we go in like, oh, no. Go in with our confidence,
Okay.
know our worth, right?
Okay.
When people start questioning our worth, I think it's important to go into therapy and really talk
Okay.
about what's happening, honestly, what's happening,
Mm.
and to give a reality test so you don't fall into that self-gaslighting, that helpless and hopelessness, and really know your worth. Is it okay to curse on your channel?
Girl, yes,
Okay,
yes, yeah.
okay.
I
So
love Jesus and I curse too. So.
okay, so you sound like Brandy the millennial. So millennial manager. So when you're in these jobs, right?
Mhm.
Not all jobs, but when you're in some of these jobs and they start treating you like you're shit, right? They
Mm.
treat you like shit, you know that you are the shit. Okay?
Like
You are
that.
the shit, right? And
Yes.
so it's like, and I just thank God
Mm.
for how I was brought up, right?
Mm.
As a Spelman woman, I know I'm the shit, right? So when they start
Mm.
coming at me like that, I'm like, who are you talking to? Right? Like, are you kidding me? But if I did not have that, they would have broke me. They would have broke me, right? They didn't. They didn't do it. So I think for us as Black women, we have to recognize this is a mind trip and to recognize that this is a mind trip. Okay. And to start saying to yourself, okay, this is a mind trip. I know I need to get out of here to preserve my own sanity. And also, it's going to run over into your personal life. So, all the stuff happening in your job, it's going to run over to your personal life, right? And
Wow.
say, wait a minute, I want a different life for myself. What does that mean that I need to do for myself? What
Mm.
resources are available to me? How do I access these resources? Yes, there's going to be fear, but what do
Mhm.
I need to do to help prepare myself to be in a better position so I can walk through the fear and still
Mm.
be able to pivot out?
Wow. Wow. That is powerful. And okay, so I'm gonna circle back to that in a minute. So I want to circle back to something Marissa said before we do the exit plan, right?
Mhm,
From
mhm,
pet to threat.
mhm,
I heard you say that on Saturday on Stephanie Perry's show, because a lot of women, right? Because okay, so this is what I see, and tell me where I'm wrong or
mhm,
misguided. A
mhm.
lot of Black women, we got all these degrees, all these certifications, and we are the junk. We are the bomb, right? And then we
Yeah.
go on real pretty and we just fly, and like we are the one, right? So
Mhm,
we're the pet,
mhm,
and then
mhm.
we become the threat. Like, how did I become a threat from last week? Like, I'm just the same. like, why y'all so
What
mad?
just
Like, what happened?
happened?
Why you didn't say nothing? We just was drinking together last week. So, Marissa, when you say pet to threat, do you have an
Mhm.
experience with that, or how do we cope with that before we implement our exit plan?
Wow. Yeah. So my experience was basically having all the degrees that I needed
Mm,
to excel in this position,
okay.
all the experience, right?
Mm,
So I was like perfectly cut out for this role. And then I encountered someone who was intimidated by that. And so
wow.
that's like the journey from pet to threat, right? We're often
Mhm.
brought in for our expertise, for our
Yeah.
skill set. And then all of a sudden, someone's insecurity becomes triggered when we begin to express opinions because, again, we're highly skilled in this area. We begin
Okay.
to push back on decisions because we have
Mm,
experience,
yeah.
right? And so people are triggered by that. And I think part of healing is really externalizing what's happening to you,
Okay.
right? Even like learning that term was huge
Mhm.
for me because then I was able to have like the terminology, right? Again, coined by three Black women professors about what was happening to me in the workplace. And so
Mm,
I could take that blame that I had been internalizing off of myself, right? It's not
wow.
me. It's this environment. Someone's triggered by the fact that I came in with these qualifications that I'm pushing back against something that I
Mm,
know is not right. Right. And often, like when we express opinions, especially as Black women in the workplace, they're not received well, no matter how we say it, and we're taught like to
yes.
say a little bit more quiet, right? To mute a little bit, like that doesn't even work because, right? It
Yes,
doesn't
yes,
work.
yes. Oh
And so
my
we're doing all this extra labor, which is
goodness.
exhausting internally,
Exactly. Yes.
trying to speak a different way, trying to appeal to this
Yes.
person in a different way when the whole time it's not us. And I think that's
Yeah.
really the message, right? It's not you,
Mm,
it's the
it's
Yeah.
not.
environment.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
It's funny you said that, Marissa, because I was just in a workshop and someone said, and it happens every workshop,
Mhm.
because they know, right? All of my degrees are in leadership, right?
Mhm.
Even getting it. Let me tell y'all why everyone thinks I'm really, really smart, but I really got really pissed off because they were challenging me like I know leadership. Like, come on, like I know what I'm talking about. So they
Mhm.
pissed me off. I went and got my degree in aviation management, and they kept pissed. This same person kept pissing me off. So I'm gonna get a master's in aviation leadership, and so they pissed me off again. I said, fine, I'm about to get a doctorate. Bump
Oh,
all y'all. Watch this. And then
okay.
you'll come back and I'm not gonna be vet. You're gonna call me Dr. Jet. And
Okay.
now you're gonna call me because I was pissed.
Yeah. Yeah.
Pissy now, right? And so it's funny because they said in the workshop, they said, can you teach us how to have soft skills? I said, no. I said, now let me tell you, I study leadership, but I can
Mhm.
guarantee 99.9% of Black women don't need to be taught soft skills.
Oh, heck no. How do
Mhm.
we survive in society is we know soft skills.
We know soft
Yeah.
skills. It's not like we don't know, we don't have the talent. Let me tell y'all, I said, get your money, get your bag, and then get your own. That's the soft skills I'm gonna teach you. And I
Yeah.
said, treat people with kindness, treat people with
Yeah.
respect. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
If you believe in Jesus, treat people like Jesus would, you know what I mean? But let's be clear, I'm not gonna sit here and waste your money and your time to teach you something you already do. Because by
Exactly.
nature, we're kind-hearted people. It's
Yeah.
just our culture. Like we are good people
Mhm.
to one another. Like
Yeah.
because I'm like I grew up like that. I see family. All we want to do is get our money and go home. You ain't gotta bother us. We're
Right.
we're not those type of people. So
Right.
I totally
Well, can I say
understand.
something though?
Yeah,
But
most definitely. Jump in.
the challenge is that we have an expectation that other people are like that too, and they are not. They are
Oh,
not. You know what I'm
they're
saying? So
not.
you might come into the job and think we're a team, right? We're all, I used to work with kids. I was in a school district, right? We're here for
Mhm.
the benefit of the kids. Mm-mm. Girl,
For a
they can
family.
kill us.
Mhm.
They can kill us,
Mm.
right? It's about their ego.
Wow.
It is about their ego. And so when the pet the threat happens, a switcheroo, you're like, what just happened? What just happened? It's like
Mm.
whiplash. Like, wait a minute, what just happened here? And you start
Wow.
thinking you're crazy. But it's
Yeah.
actual phenomena, right? And I just want to call out the 3 Black women researchers who said this, who created the pets of threat, right? So it's 3 Black
Okay.
women researchers, Dr. Juanita Johnson Bailey, Dr. Keisha Thomas, Dr. Rosemary Phelps. I say their
Mm.
names because people try to steal their work, right? And so I'm
Mm.
very intentional about saying their names, right? But I
Mm.
appreciate that what they've said, that what they've done is now they've liberated so many Black women for
Wow.
being able to say, this is what it is.
Mm. This is what it is. And
Mhm.
the women are chiming in, and the comments are just like so overwhelming. So, ladies, if you're just joining, welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you for joining the conversation. I got my friends and my sisters with me, Marissa and Dr. Kamani, and we are showing and telling the truth about a lot of things, debunking the mysteries that we may have all have felt, and really changing the game and giving you more because I know you've had enough. Let's just be real.
Yes.
We've had
We are
enough.
sick and tired of being sick and tired.
I'm
Fannie Lou
sick and
Hamer. We are
tired
sick
of
of it.
girl that part. But you
Mhm.
know what? And Dr. Kaman, you said it. When we draw on one another's strengths and we come together, that's how we get stronger, right?
True.
And that's how we're going to build as a community one another up, and how we're going to build not even our resilience, but maybe our resistance, I guess you could say. So I
Mm.
think about it like a
Mhm.
code, right? When you build up the resistance to a
Mhm.
lot of this toxic environment, toxic
Mhm.
masculinity, and
Mhm.
just the racism and the sexism. Because,
Mhm.
ladies, it's there, right? And don't be fooled. Don't be fooled by what you're feeling, and
Mhm.
just call it a spade, right?
Right.
So bet on yourself. And so,
Yeah.
the women are saying this is healing, and this work is needed. And
Yeah.
so, Dr. Kamani and
Yeah.
Marissa walked us through how they met, right?
Yeah.
So, what have you seen? Because what year is this for your Job Liberation Summit?
This is the second year.
Second year. So tell us about the first year, like
Okay.
what it was like, what you felt, what you saw, and even the stories. I know you're hearing stories now because I remember hearing about this summit, and trust me, I'll be here this year. And so I heard about it last year, and I was scared. I'm like, ooh, be liberated from what I'm under. I'm like, oh, So what are the stories that you're hearing now? What are the residual effects from your last summit? Because I know it's going to be even more powerful this year. So talk to us about that.
I'm gonna have Marissa talk about the testimonials. I just want to
Okay.
say something though when we think about liberation,
Hmm.
because part of what happens for us as Black women is when we say job liberation, they're thinking that, oh, you want me to just leave my job and just be out there, just
Mm.
floating along? No, 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 no. What we're
Okay.
talking about is job liberation, meaning to get out of toxic situations, to get
Hmm.
out of situations that you've maybe outgrown, or even if
Okay.
you've been laid off recently. What
Okay.
are our options as Black women to find
Mm.
other ways to make money, right? It
Okay.
may be
Okay.
going into another job because not all jobs are toxic, okay? It might
Mm.
be finding ways to create multiple streams of income or side
Okay.
hustle or go into entrepreneurship. There's so many different ways, but I think what's happening is we box ourselves in and we count ourselves out, right? No,
Okay.
no, I can't liberate from a job. What? I got bills to pay. Not doing
Mm.
this market. No, no, no.
Okay.
We are telling you about different ways to do all these things about replacing your income. What's to do about
Okay.
your health insurance? What's to do about your retirement? All
Okay.
those things that might keep you at the toxic job. We are
Mm.
here to provide the resources so you get the practical information from 15 other Black women speakers about
Wow.
how to do this effectively. They have
Okay.
all done so effectively. So you're learning
Mm.
from them, right? So I don't want Black women to count ourselves out. And I want to
Okay.
say this before Marissa talks about the testimonials from the summit, is that another reason why we might count ourselves out is, well, I don't want nobody to know I'm trying to leave this job, right? So the
Mhm.
privacy consideration,
Okay.
none of the attendees will be seen on camera. None of them. Okay. Their
Wow.
names are not going to be listed, right? If there's a question or comment they want to make during the summit, then they can
Mhm.
change their name in a platform. It is also recorded. So
Wow.
there's no, you can't say, oh, well, I got things to do. Well, that's okay. You can
Mm.
watch the recording, okay?
Okay.
But
Yes.
don't start making excuses to count yourself out about why you cannot participate.
I
Okay.
love it.
So I'm gonna turn it over
Mm.
to Marissa.
Yeah, some of the testimonials we received, one of the women who attended last year said that it literally saved her life.
Mm.
And Tanya, I think that was the most powerful one because we've seen, right, the real ramifications of Black women in toxic jobs with the passing of Dr. Candia Bailey.
Yes,
And so we see like the severe consequences that can happen if you
yes.
are not like in a community where people are reflecting back to you, it's not you over and over and over again, right?
Mhm,
For it to stick
Mhm.
that it's not you. It
mhm.
Mm.
literally is the environment.
Okay.
And so to be reminded of the power that you have to pivot, which is the theme of the summit this year.
Mm.
Again, not feeling like you have to do it like immediately because it took
Okay.
me a year to
Okay.
exit plan. And I know Dr. Kamani had her plan too, right in place that
Mhm,
took time to implement.
mhm,
But
mhm.
Mm.
knowing that you have the power to pivot, that's what we want
Yes,
to like emphasize this year on
Mm.
yes,
your timeline, but you can go to
yes.
another job where you're not harmed, right?
Mhm,
Okay.
Where you can try freelancing, you can retire early, which people are going to be talking
mhm.
about, right? So there's
Mm.
all these other options that exist to you. We want to
Yes.
emphasize that this year. We've
Mhm.
heard from Black women like taking sabbaticals,
Okay.
career breaks, right? Using FMLA, which I used to take
Mm.
11 weeks off of the
Mhm,
job, which really gave me space and time to again realize that it wasn't me and sit
mhm,
with that fact,
Okay.
right? To have time and space away to make my final exit plan from that job, to start understanding how to pivot into freelancing and start
mhm.
my
Mm.
own business.
Okay.
So FMLA may be an option. I know in certain states it's paid.
Okay.
The state I was in, it was not paid, right? So that was
Mhm.
Mm.
another like financial consideration that I had to make. But yeah, taking
Mm.
career breaks, pivoting out of toxic work environments, going to jobs where you're actually valued. We've heard feedback from Black women who have left the job that they were in at the past
Mhm.
summit, right? Gone into
Mm.
a new job where they're actually experiencing what they should have all along, which is
Right.
Ooh.
respect, right?
Respect.
Respect, valuing your skill set, right? Being paid adequately. We know so often
Mm.
we're being underpaid, we're working multiple roles in jobs, and that's just not
Mm.
okay. That's
Okay.
not okay. And so to understand your power to take your skill set and move to something better, and that you
Mm-hmm.
don't have to be stuck. That's
Yeah.
really like the message. So
Don't have
yeah,
to be stuck.
yeah,
Mm.
wonderful testimonials that we receive from Black women all across the globe who have made major life changes
Yeah.
for their betterment, right, and putting
Yeah.
themselves first.
Yeah.
Ooh,
And I just want to say that was beautifully stated, Marissa. Like during the summit, it was so magical. Like to
really?
like to hear the speakers and to see the chat like rolling in just hyped up and just a community of Black women and
Mm.
knowing that this was a life-changing experience, right? So
Wow.
coming into the summit, maybe feeling defeated, feeling like I
Mm.
don't know a way out, I'm just stuck, leaving feeling, oh my God, now I know
Mm.
what my exit plan is. Now I
Okay.
know what the resources are. And when
Mm.
Chris and I created the summit, it was really thinking about what are all the issues that may impact a Black woman in a toxic job, and
Okay.
how do we provide those resources? So, like the A
Mm.
to Z, right? So it's a roadmap. It's a
Mm.
shortcut to help Black
Hallelujah.
women effectively leave. And just I wish that I would have had this when I was,
Me
in a
too.
toxic job, right? I had to do it on
Really?
my own, with
Mm.
some support, but I really had to figure out all my steps on my own. And so I don't want Black women to feel alone and trying to figure it
Mm.
out. It's because it can be very overwhelming.
It can be. Oh my good. So you're creating a community of women that are creating a strategy to
Yeah.
help you have options, right?
Yes.
And Marissa, you said it because a lot of people don't realize there's options. Like you have options.
Mhm,
It's not just
mhm.
one and done, but it's one and many, right?
Yes.
So where would you recommend that a woman that's stuck in a toxic job and that is seeking liberation? How do you even start to conceptualize a pivot, right? When you've been somewhere for so long, and right now everyone's grateful to have a job, that's a whole nother topic for another day.
Mhm.
But how do you even begin to think about a pivot? Because a lot of women feel like it's ungrateful to think about a pivot or leaving somewhere when you invest so much in it. So how do you even conceptualize a pivot?
See, that's the mindset, right? So a
Mindset.
lot of what we talk about in the summit is mindset, right?
Mm,
So the whole notion of being ungrateful for a job, right? A
mm,
job that's harming you,
ooh,
right? So we have to
mm,
reevaluate and interrogate those thoughts that makes us think that way, right? The other
yes.
thing is it doesn't matter what the job market is, and it's a lot of uncertainty going on right now.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
There's no harm with you getting information. There's
Ooh.
no harm with
Mm,
getting
mhm.
information, right? In
Mm,
addition to that, recognizing what are the things that are keeping me at that job, the mind traps, right? That's keeping me at the job. And how do I work through the mind traps? That might be in therapy
mm,
because there might be some
okay.
issues going on that makes you feel like you better be grateful to stay there or you're going to end up homeless or these, major fears you have. You need
Okay.
to work through that and
Mm,
get the support at the summit, get
mm,
the information. There's no harm with getting information. When you come to the summit, nobody is holding you to the fire of, now, girl, you got to resign. Nobody is
okay.
holding you to the fire. You are
Mm,
getting prepared. As Black women, we're always prepared, right? We are
mm,
always getting ready. We are always prepared. So there's no harm with getting prepared. You
mm,
get the information and you decide based upon your own timeline about when you want to go.
oh,
Nobody, again, is saying you got to go in a month. It could be a year, 2 years, 3 years down the line,
mm,
right?
Mhm.
But you are getting prepared.
yes. And that's Stephanie talks about that in their Exodus ASAP, that don't wait till you need it to be trying to get everything together. Get
No.
it ahead of time so you can like be ready. They say be ready so you don't have to get ready.
Right.
Mhm.
So that is powerful. And someone asked them, what's your dream job? Like, what's your dream job? And she doesn't have a dream job, is to not work. So how do those type of people, and so do you have women in your circle or in the liberation that aren't dreaming of another job? How do you handle that? Is that something you can speak to, Marissa or Dr. Kamani?
Yeah, I think so. Krishan Wright, who's the founder
Mm,
of Black Sit Global, she'll be leading a talk on how to generate income from anywhere.
ooh,
Krishan made a life transition to Portugal from the US. And now
really?
she's an entrepreneur, right, running Black Sit Global, helping Black people leave the US to different
Okay.
countries around the world.
Really?
So if you don't dream, if you don't dream of entering another workplace, going to a traditional 9 to 5, there are other pathways for you. And something I talk about often,
Really?
right, is your skill set is yours. As a
Yes.
Mhm.
freelancer, right? So I don't work in a traditional work environment, 9 to 5, like I used to in a corporate setting. I
Mhm.
work for myself, right? So this is my work setup. I work with clients, Black women
Mhm.
digital entrepreneurs, right? Helping Black women heal from toxic, traumatic experiences. And I
Mhm.
do all that utilizing my existing skill set as a
Okay.
freelancer. So there are
Mm.
different pathways that you can take that
Mhm.
don't have to look like going into another 9 to 5 work environment if that's not what you want. And we also have resources if that is what you do want, right? So people to help
Mhm.
you with your resume, to make a career pivot to a different job. So we kind of runs the gamut
Yeah.
of options at the
Yeah.
summit.
And Marissa's one of the speakers speaking on that topic, right? About
Really?
Mm,
freelancing. And the thing about it too is that we have like Libria Jones talking about remote work.
mm-hmm,
Stephanie
Mhm.
Berry, she talking about I don't dream of labor, right? So Stephanie's going to be talking about
Mhm.
the toxic mindset, about
Okay.
how to really break that and live the
Mhm.
life and create the life that we want for ourselves. This is revolutionary as Black women that
Wow.
we can, and we see from all these brilliant Black women that you can live a different way.
You
I
can
said
live a
Rashida
different.
Dow, Alicia, you know that we can live a different way.
We can live a different way. How powerful is that? Just a different dream, right? A different reality that honestly we never may have thought was possible.
Yeah.
Oh my, this, I mean, honestly, this is just a portrait of beauty and of strength and of courage. And I am so proud of both of you ladies for stepping into this power, into this strength to help liberate so many Black women.
Hmm.
Like, and I know both of you come from the mental health space,
Hmm.
and I'm at a suicide prevention conference.
Hmm.
And what I have found is that there's so many people suffering, right?
Hmm.
And so one of the things, there's a program called Assist, right? And it helps you walk through the journey of coming up with a plan for
Hmm.
mental health and to staying safe for now.
Hmm.
And what the problem is when people are suicidal or thinking of killing themselves is because it's painful and
Yeah.
people want to escape the
Yeah.
pain,
Yeah.
the loss.
Yeah.
Do you not know, ladies, that you are helping so many women out of pain?
Yeah.
Like that's
mm,
like, and so I
And giving
understand.
a sense of hope too.
Oh
So,
my
Marissa
God.
talked about, the spiral that we can find ourselves in when we're in a toxic job.
Yes.
So the helplessness and the hopelessness, if we don't get a handle on that, that can lead
Mhm.
to what happened with Dr. Antoinette Bonnie Candia Bailey. And I
Mhm.
interviewed her line sister, and she talked
Mhm.
about like Dr. Bailey like chronicled exactly what was happening to her. Like in
Really?
third person, she
Yeah.
chronicled the whole
Mhm.
thing. And something she said was, it's a warning to us as Black women. She said, when you recognize that you're in a toxic job,
Mm.
get out.
Get out.
It is
Get
mm-hmm,
not
out.
better. It is
Get
not going to go
out.
better. And so
Get
I hope that
out.
we learn from her tragedy
Mm.
that this is how far it could go. It
Wow.
can really, and I have Black women therapy clients, Black
mm-hmm,
women coaching clients, and they have talked
Mhm.
to me about experiencing suicidal thoughts. So it
Wow.
is
mm-hmm,
very serious.
It's
It can
real.
really get to that point.
It's
And
real.
so we really want Black women to know that it
Mm.
might feel that way. It might literally feel like there's no way out, but there is a
There's
way
a
out.
way
There is a way
out.
out. And we want to provide Black women with a sense of hope by
Mhm.
showing you, not just to talk, girl, this is the way out. No, we're actually
Mhm.
showing you how to get out and to do
Mhm.
well. To do
Oh
well.
my, you know what you're doing? You're creating a safety plan because part of assist is
mm-hmm,
keeping people safe for now.
Yeah.
So, and I think we miss that. Oh my gosh. So y'all gonna be at this conference next year. I'm just saying, I'm just letting y'all know this, because part of the assist, right, the assist framework and the suicide prevention framework is keeping people safe for now and giving them a safety plan so it can guide them through, so that when they're having those thoughts of suicide, and they may come again, but they're safe and they have a plan, they have a checklist. So what I'm seeing from this job liberation summit is you all are giving Black women a safety plan,
Yeah.
that when you need that life raft, when you need that handshake, when you need to tell your story to someone that understands, that warm ear, that's what you're doing for so many women. And
Yeah.
I think that is like the most phenomenal thing, because mental health is an epidemic in the world right now,
Mhm.
right? And so just I would put in a plug right here is that if you are having thoughts of suicide, one, in the Black community, we don't talk about it enough. We don't normalize it, right? And it's part of what so many people and communities are suffering with, and you're not alone. And there's a number, it's a national number, 988, just like 911. And 988 is a warm crisis line that you can call, and you will have someone on the other end 24/7, 365 to talk about anything you're going through. And it's not about race, it's not about gender, but it's about you. It's about
Yeah.
the person.
Yeah.
And so, and they give you that lifeline, that life raft. So,
Yeah.
and I hope
Say something, Coach Fat.
um,
I'm so glad that you called out the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline number. I'm so glad you called
mm,
it out, right? So we can call it, we can text it, right?
yes,
Also for safety planning, if anyone is experiencing suicidal thoughts, or you hear, or you
yes,
have a suspicion, take that seriously and you get immediate
yes,
help, right? So you go to the
exactly.
nearest emergency room,
Yeah.
and or you can call 911 and let them know some mental health emergency.
Yes. Oh my gosh. And that's why this is so beautiful, Dr. Kamani. And thank you for seconding that. That's why this and job liberation is so critical, so that we can be okay as Black women,
Yes.
and
Yes.
that we can be okay in a safe place and a safe space. So
Yeah.
that is so awesome.
I want to
So
quote Kendrick Lamar again, right?
mhm,
Like, we're gonna be all right. We're gonna be more than all
we're
right.
going to be all right.
We're gonna be more than all right.
We're
We're
going
gonna
to
be
be
more than that.
all right.
Now we're gonna be more than okay. We're
Yes.
gonna be really good. We're gonna be good.
Oh my goodness. So from this summit, what would you say would be the biggest nugget that you want women to walk away with? So we talked about just having a plan, right? And be having the pivot. Is there anything else that you would like women to walk away with from this summit?
I would
Uh-oh.
Or did we lose her?
I think she's
She's
frozen.
frozen. She's
Okay,
frozen
okay.
in
sorry.
time.
She's about
Oh,
to
there she goes. There she
okay, there
is.
she is.
I know.
Okay.
Yeah, I would say to know your power, right?
Yeah.
To know how powerful you are.
Mm,
And again, that's often why we're mistreated, which is kind of confusing,
okay.
right? In these workplaces, it can be disorienting.
Mm-hmm.
But because your power and brilliance is just so dynamic, right? It
Okay.
triggers other people's insecurities, which leads to them treating you this way because they have their own things that they're dealing with, right?
Okay.
But by externalizing that treatment and coming back into your power, the skills
Mm,
that you came into the job with, they didn't go anywhere. You still have them.
they
In
didn't
fact, you
go
probably
anywhere.
honed them despite
Wow.
being in a really toxic environment. They
Yep.
probably gotten even stronger. And so,
Yep.
how can
Mm,
you take them to another job if that's what you want to do?
yes.
Entrepreneurship, freelancing, moving abroad, all these things that we'll be presenting you with as
Okay.
options. So, I think that's the biggest thing, right? Reminding yourself that you are powerful and you have the power to
Mhm.
pivot at any
Mhm.
time you want. It's not too late,
It's
right?
not.
As long as you're living, breathing, you can pivot and you can make a change.
Oh,
Mhm.
I love that you said that. As long as you're living and breathing, you can make the change. And I
Yes.
just told someone else that your current state does not have to be your future reality. Like you
True.
don't have to stay where you are right now. Like you
Mhm.
can dream a bigger dream even
Mhm.
with no experience.
Right.
You can dream. I'm like, because everyone started off at the same place from birth. Like
Mhm.
we all started there. Now, what we did with it along the way can look a little different, but it's
Mhm.
everyone's race, and you can run it how you want to and still be where you want to go. So, yes. Oh my God, I love
True.
that. What about you, Dr. Kamani? What would you
Well,
say you want
I
to
would
walk?
second that, but I think that the biggest things you're going to get, not only the practical information, right? But you're going to come out with a sense of confidence and a sense of hope,
Okay.
right? And knowing that the fear will be there,
Okay.
but you will be empowered with the information of what to do next, right? You won't feel stuck anymore. That stuck
Okay.
feeling is a horrible feeling. You won't feel
Yeah.
stuck anymore, and you'll be in a community, so you won't feel alone because you with all these other Black women. Last year we had 300 Black women in attendance.
Wow.
300, right? So this
Yes.
year we're hoping to get a lot more than 300.
Yes.
Have
Oh.
that many Black women, similar experience, all want the best for each other, pouring into one another. That is affirming. That is affirming. So many times as Black women, we are not affirmed. We are always protecting ourselves. No, we're in a safe space with other Black women pouring into each other. So in addition to all the practical things that Marissa mentioned, confidence,
Confidence.
right? Hope,
Hope.
community,
Joy.
community, joy.
Joy.
Yes,
Ooh-wee.
yes.
I better preach. Oh my gosh. So let me tell y'all what the chat is saying. How do you come to know and trust? Oh, that's a good question. I'll let either of you ladies take that. How do you come to know and trust your power? Ooh, that's powerful.
You want to say that, Marissa?
Yeah, I was thinking about my own experiences, and for me, it's been like healing my inner child, right? So going back throughout my childhood experiences, and we've talked about this before, Dr. Kamani and I on my channel, about how childhood experiences really prime us for a lot of these toxic work experiences,
Absolutely.
right? And there are a lot of parallels, or a lot of like things that you may have felt right back in middle school, which is the case for me, that are now reappearing in these jobs. And so part of healing and taking back my power has been revisiting those times and like telling myself that it wasn't me during that time and it wasn't me during this job experience either. Right. Again, we're living in systems of oppression that are literally trying to extract power from us at every turn to make us like doubt our worth. Right. And so this has been a period that I've like been experiencing all throughout my life. And so reminding myself of that has really helped me take back my personal power. And understand that the systems are not that powerful to continue to extract from me if I don't allow them to, right? If I like guard that within myself, it can't be touched.
Y'all are powerful. Oh my
Yeah.
God.
And sometimes it's hard to be able to access that or have that level of self-reflection. So
Okay.
that's why therapy is so important. And, I have a video on my channel talking about how to find a therapist and therapy
Okay.
resources. So for the woman who said that, I think it might be helpful. Oh, she actually she talked about childhood trauma. That's exactly right. This is exactly right. So childhood trauma, issues we have in our family relationships can prime us. And a lot of times, many of us have unresolved trauma with going to the workplace, and the workplace can mirror your trauma.
Okay.
Right? And that's why it makes it even
Oh.
Yeah.
That's why it makes it hard to go. So that's why therapy is so important.
Oh, wow.
Therapy, sis.
Oh, wow. That's powerful. And Dr. Klein, I'm going to have to find that video and I'll make sure I post that in the description for everyone.
Okay.
That is powerful. So you're in a toxic environment that mirrors your trauma.
Yes.
That is deep.
Yes.
I
Or
never
it might even
thought about
prime you. It might even prime you for being in an abusive, toxic relationship, right? So if you grew up in an environment where you experienced childhood abuse, right? That experience primes you for expecting certain things like that in the work environment, and you will tolerate it more because that is what you are used to. Right? So that's why it's so important to address those unresolved wounds you have. And so you'll be able to say, wait a minute, that job reminds me of when I was 5 years old. And it happened to me. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. Therapy is the key. And there's so many women that have gone through things. So, okay, what if women can't get therapy right away, right? But how do we stop going into these environments that I guess resonate so much with our childhood trauma? Is there a way to recognize that ahead of time?
Well, let me say this.
Okay.
I would invite us to really think about, why can't we go to therapy?
Okay.
right?
Okay.
I think
Okay.
for many of us, it's thinking, well, I don't know how to find a therapist. Okay.
Okay.
I just said I got a video on my channel. Coach Vet is going to
Hmm.
put that in the
We're
description
gonna
section,
find that. We're gonna find.
right? So there's resources available to us. We
Oh.
might think, oh, it's too expensive. Okay, there's
Hmm.
options for that too. The Loveland Foundation provides free therapy vouchers for Black women for therapy, right? You apply for the program. A lot of my clients use Loveland Foundation vouchers, and I accept them. Okay. So
Mm.
there's resources that don't count ourselves out. Don't say, "Oh, I can't do therapy right now." Well, why not? Don't just say I can't. Why not? Why not? Explore
Wow.
what the barriers are and see,
Okay.
like, are there other options for me? I think
Mm.
therapy is key. What I do want to say, there might be other ways for us to heal, but I
Hmm.
think therapy is going to get to the root, right? Things
Mm.
we might be doing might be kind of band-aids to kind of help us. We might think, let's say you're a spiritual, religious person, you might feel like I should just pray it away. You can pray, right? But if there's
Mm.
some unresolved trauma, it's not going to be addressed
Okay.
only with prayer, right?
Mm.
So
Girl,
again,
that
we
part.
are saying, "Oh, I can't do therapy right now." Why not? Just be honest.
Mm.
Why not? What is the issue as to why I think I cannot, and what is the workaround? What are the resources that might be
Mhm.
available to me? And so I just want people to watch the video too.
I love that. I'm gonna find that video,
I'll
and
give it
there's
to you.
a
I'll send it
lot
to
of
you.
great Thank you, thank you. And I'm glad I asked that question because that just was like at the top of my mind. Let's see. My mother was emotionally abusive and unavailable. In jobs, I found myself chasing approval from folks who would never. Oh my gosh,
Wow.
Lindsay. I'm so glad you're able to recognize that, and thank you for sharing that. And I'm hoping that you're able to move forward. But did you want to speak to any of that, Marissa?
Yeah, those childhood wounds can really be reopened, right? In these
Mm,
traumatic, toxic work environments, we can have someone remind us of a caregiver in childhood, and it
Mhm.
can feel like you're stuck because as a child, right, there are very limited places for you to go
okay.
often. And so it's reminding yourself that you're an adult now.
Okay.
And I want to quote Glamazini too here, like you can pick yourself up and move,
Yeah.
right? Now,
Yeah.
as an adult, that is the power that you have. And it's really reminding yourself of that. No longer are you a child where you have to stay in this very traumatic environment that's trying to steal your power, is trying to
Mm,
silence your voice.
yeah.
Now
Mhm.
you're an adult and you have the power to make a strategy to get out, right?
Wow.
You have agency that you may not have
Mm,
had at a younger age. But it's constantly reminding yourself of that. And that's really the power of community to be able to reflect that back to you and to share resources and knowledge so you don't have to do it yourself. And it doesn't
mm.
feel so isolating when you're experiencing it because a lot of us have experienced the same thing.
That is, you said, yeah, the power to move. Like you can get up. And you know what? I'm glad you said that because a lot of times we don't give ourselves permission to move.
Mhm.
And we don't give ourselves our own validation to move. We wait for it to come from outside people and outside sources. Where we give ourselves the validation and permission, we might move a lot sooner. Oh my goodness. And we're going to get these resources to you. They're going to be in the description.
And I
Um,
also put in the chat too. I already
oh,
put in
she
the
put it.
chat. Yeah, so it's the Loveland Foundation. I put it in the chat, but it'll also, yeah, yeah.
Thank you. Oh my gosh. Yeah, let's get the help, right? First, let's go and get the help, use the resources, and let's get in the Job Liberation Summit, the second annual one. And I didn't even ask how long you ladies can go. Oh my God, it's 10 o'clock on the East Coast. Y'all know I talk a lot. I'm sorry. I didn't even ask y'all. I'm so sorry. Y'all know I talk a lot. So, ladies, make sure you write this information down. Make sure you get the resources. These are two powerful professionals and wonderful, wonderful women that can really help us. Can you put the resources in the chat? Yes, she did. And I'll show them again right here for us. And let's see, is there anything else in the chat? That's a word. Y'all are awesome. So I'll wrap it up. I know we've been going about an hour. I'll post up the Job Liberation Summit. I did drop the link in the description. I'll also drop the link to register in the. And I think doesn't register. When does registration? Oh, talk to us, y'all. Tell us about it. Tell us about it. I don't want to mess it up. I don't want to mess it up.
Yeah, so early registration is open now. So you can
Okay.
get your tickets now. It's open through April 15th at early pricing.
Mm,
After that, it will increase to standard pricing. So if you do want to take advantage of early pricing, please make sure to register before April 15th.
okay.
But yeah, there are two options. So the standard pass provides you with all access to the live sessions,
Okay.
Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, as well as 3 days of replays, because that was
Mhm.
feedback from last year. People had different things to do during the day, so they wanted like at least a limited time to be able to watch replays. So we did provide 3 days of replays to watch back. And then the all access pass provides you with the same thing, right? So you get access
Mhm.
Friday, Saturday, and Sunday of the summit. You get replays for 1 year. So if you need more time to digest the information that will be shared, that is an option for you to get the all access pass, as well as 3 additional bonus master classes
Wow.
with Jackie Abram, Janice Sutherland, and Dr. Roche,
Mhm.
who will be speaking on how to make your financial plan to get out of the job, how to pivot careers for Black women 50 plus, and yeah, how to protect your career and
Okay.
yourself while you're still in a toxic job, which Jackie Abram will be speaking about. And those are 3 bonus master classes on Zoom that are included with the all access pass.
Ooh-wee. Oh, that's powerful. That's powerful. Dr. Kamai, did you have anything to add?
Yeah, I just wanted to say, and get ready to move your body because I'm going to be doing
Mhm.
an Afro yoga class for one of the days. So I'm in the process of becoming an Afro yoga teacher. So
Okay.
Afro yoga is a mix between yoga and African dance. So
Okay.
we're going to get all that toxicity out of our system, right? We're going to be moving our bodies
Mhm.
and dancing. So get
Yes.
ready. It's going to be information. It's going to be fun. It's going to be music. It's going to be all those things and so
It's
much
all
more.
those things. Oh my goodness, that is so healing. And so the Job Liberation Summit is happening May 16th through May 21st. May 16th through May 21st. I have dropped the link in the chat. It's also in the description. So it's gonna be everywhere. And when I tell you these ladies are wonderful, they're loving, they're kind, and they're truly moving the needle so you can have a strategy, so you can have an option, and so that you can truly, truly get the healing that you need for liberation. So I
Yeah.
thank you. Did you want anything else before we close out for the evening?
I just want to just encourage us as Black women, don't count ourselves out. Don't say,
Mm,
I can't because, right?
mm,
We have done everything to try to make this as easy,
mm.
streamlined for you. Okay. So the kickoff is on a Friday evening.
Okay.
The, then we have the next 2 days, full information breaks, right? We'd have breaks,
Mhm.
but again, it's recorded. Okay.
Mhm, mhm.
The bonus sessions, so the 16th to the 18th are the actual content, right?
Okay.
The bonus sessions are the following 3 days, and those are
Okay.
in the evening, right?
Okay.
So even if you work, you can still go during the week in the evening, you can still go to the bonus sessions. So please
Mhm.
don't count yourself out, sis. Don't count yourself
Mm. That is so awesome. And ladies, get it early. Save your spot early. You don't want to wait. You don't want to wait to the last minute. You want to be in the room and you want to be where you can get the help and the strategy you need. And as they both stated earlier, so there'd be no camera. So you are
out.
safe in a safe
Yeah,
place.
yeah. Only the speakers will be on camera.
Only the speakers, and that's I think that is phenomenal. That is a great strategy. So
Mhm.
you can attend no matter what your status is in your current situation. No one will know that you may be the person that's needing the liberation. So
Not
I
at all.
thank you guys. Do you guys want to do something with me that I just learned today? Because
What's
we're
that?
talking about healing, a breathing technique. I
Okay.
would love for us to do it together. And I
Okay.
thought it was phenomenal. So you raise your hand. Don't look at my little nubs. So usually my nails are done, but I have some nubs now. So you raise your hand. So you raise your non-dominant hand, right? And so when you raise your non-dominant hand, we're going to trace our hand. And so when we go up, that's going to be on the inhale. When we go down, that's going to be on the exhale. Because what it's going to do is it's going to teach us deep breathing all the way through. All right, so go with me. Ready? We're going to trace inhale all the way up, exhale all the way down, inhale all the way up, exhale all the way down, inhale all the way up, exhale all the way down, inhale all the way up, exhale all the way down. Inhale, all the way up. Exhale, all the way down. And see, it centers and it grounds you. So you have deep breathing so you can be able to think and go through the next step. So yeah, I just learned that today. So I
Thank you,
thought
Coach Matt. I'm going to be borrowing that.
Me
doesn't
Thank
it
too.
feel good? And so yeah, I have some more tricks up my sleeve. So there's so many things you could do for mental health and awareness. So yeah, I'm glad you liked it. But everyone, thank you so much for joining us. Make sure you sign up for the Job Liberation Summit. These two women are really doing some great work, but they can't do it without us. So you are needed, you're wanted, and this is a safe place just for you,
you.
just for you and your two sisters and your friends. So bring them with you. Don't come alone. Come with someone because it will make a difference in your life. So you'll walk away with a plan, you walk away with courage, you walk away with love, you walk away with confidence and a community of women that are there to support you and love you and lift you up. And
Yeah.
so if we don't see each other before then, ladies, I know, well, and I'll be seeing on your channels. So I need to drop both of your channels because both of you are doing some phenomenal work. And so we'll make sure that.
As are you. As are you, sis.
Thank you. I appreciate
You.
that, Dr.
Yes.
Anthony. Thank you. Just say, I'm trying to say one person at a time, give people hope, right? Hope for another future in another way. So, doing great things. But we will see you at the Job Liberation Summit, ladies, May 26th through
May
uh,
16th.
May 16th, May 16th, May 16th, May 16th through May 21st. And we will see you there and get your tickets now while it's the early bird. The early bird catches the worm, right?
True that. Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
thank you everyone for joining. Dr. Kamani, Marissa, thank you so much for joining me tonight and just having the conversation and just being a great support, encouragement, and just an inspiration of what womanhood looks like in the best form. So thank you. Thank you
Thank
so much for
you.
what you're doing. All right, everyone, we'll see you later and have a restful evening, and we'll talk soon, friends. Bye for now.
Take care,
Thank
everyone.
you.